Hello and welcome to Joelle TV, the place to be if you want to become fully bilingual and if you want to have the time of your life in Paris. My name is Llyane Stanfield and today I would like to give you a sample of a workshop that I'm doing nowadays. It's about a 30-minute workshop where I'm working with people who need help on pronunciation, grammar, whichever thing. And so now you're gonna witness my workshop and my class. I'm very happy to offer you this, and stay around because at the very end of the workshop I'm gonna answer questions, and I also have a huge 30% something gift for you, and I almost gave it away, but I just want to tell you that it's worthwhile if you stay up to the end of the workshop. So it's only about 30 minutes, so stay put. Okay, I'm gonna now we have Vanora, and Vanora will give us a little bit of well, we'll just have to see. Oh, she has a picture up. That's awesome. Great. Fantastic. So without further ado, now I'm just gonna call Vanora to see what she needs help with. So here we go. Hi, Vanora.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, awesome. Oh, so first, can you please tell me where are you calling from? Well, actually, I called you, but where are you?
I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada.
In Toronto. Awesome, great. Okay, so what are we doing today? Do we have a story? Do we have?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Awesome.
I have a story, a small story.
You do?
And then I can also tell you about my vacation.
Yes. Oh, I would love that. I would love to hear that. Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. So did you send me the story by email?
No.
No. Okay, that's awesome. No problem. So let's hear the story.
Okay. Il y avait une fille, Simone. Elle aimait dessiner.
Okay. Il y avait une fois. You wanted to say it was a time when.
Yes.
Okay, so probably il y avait une fois. Or if you say il y avait une fille, then it's okay too. It's just, it depends on if you wanted to change, depending on the context and exactly what you wanted to say. Okay, so il y avait une fille. Let's stay with your story, because I want to stay with your story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elle aimait dessiner.
Mm-hmm.
Elle voulait devenir une artiste.
Artiste.
Une artiste. Un jour, la maîtresse a organisé un spectacle de talent dans la classe. Le prix était un voyage de classe de leur choix.
One second. Le prix était un voyage.
De classe. Un voyage de classe.
As in?
A class trip.
I see. So I would say, because a class trip is like in English we have all those adjectives that put before a noun, it becomes a different word, right?
Yes.
A trip is a trip. A class trip is a trip, but it's a different type of trip. So once you say a class trip, you know exactly what that is. It's kind of a word, like a phrase, right?
Yes.
But if you say un voyage de la classe, then it's probably gonna be better.
Okay. De la.
Mm-hmm. Ou avec la classe. De la classe should be in your context. I think it's better.
De la?
Yeah.
Okay. Le prix était un voyage de la classe de leur choix. Tous les enfants étaient très heureux et excités.
Okay, stop. Tous les enfants étaient
très heureux.
Okay. Why did you use heureuse?
Plural.
But les enfants, what gender is enfant?
Masculine.
So what is the form for the masculine adjective?
EUX.
Okay. So how do you pronounce that then?
Heureux.
Why? Because I feel like you're not sure.
Because it's not S.
No, it's not that. If you would end in S, you would probably still pronounce heureux. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But because it... Okay, so how would you spell the one with the S, the version with the S? I don't want to give you the answer. Just trying to point you to the...
Heureux.
You can write it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Heureuse. And so what is the reason you pronounce the Z at the end?
Because there's an E after.
Because S is between two vowels,
Yes.
first of all. But yes, that's the reason, because the E after. So, les enfants étaient très heureux. Okay, then what's the reason not to pronounce heureuse?
Because of the X. There's no two vowels.
There's not an E at the end.
There's no E at the end, yes.
Right, and yeah, there are not two vowels around X. With X, that doesn't work quite the same on a regular basis. It's not the same rule, right?
Yes.
So when you have an S between two vowels, you pronounce Z, or in a liaison, it's kind of okay to pronounce Z even if you don't really have vowels on the two sides. But with heureux, it being an X there, right?
Yes.
It's a different pronunciation. I just think that you kind of went automatically into heureuse. I don't think that you thought through all this when you said les enfants sont heureuses. But I wonder, I'm curious how you wrote it, though.
Oh, I wrote with the X.
Oh, okay. You just pronounced it that way.
Yes.
Okay. So just be more mindful of that, that's all.
Tous les enfants étaient très heureux
Oui.
et excités.
Oui.
Pour le spectacle de talent, quelques dansaient et d'autres chantaient.
So what is the expression when you want to say few of them were dancing and some of them...
Quelqu'un.
Quelqu'un means someone. Someone. So if you want, you have to put that in the plural.
Yes.
Some of them, right?
Yes.
Maybe you don't say in English someone's, right?
Yes.
We don't have that exactly, but in French we do. So it's going to be quelques-uns.
Quelques-uns.
With U-N-S, with an S at the end. Quelques-uns.
Quelques-uns dansaient et quelques-uns chantaient.
Quelques-uns. No, I would say quelques-uns chantaient was the first one? Danser. Quelques-uns dansaient et les autres ou d'autres, D' autre with an S at the end.
Okay. D'autres chantaient. Simone a dessiné une très belle image de sa classe. C'était très bon. Il ressemblait une photo.
Attends, c'était très bon.
Oui.
What is bon? As in, like, what does that refer to?
The image.
And image is what gender?
Feminine. C'était très bonne.
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 Yeah. See, because when you say bon, you see how O is much more closed up, right? Because it's nasal, right? It really is not a clear, like an open, crisp, pure O, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so it becomes bon. Bon, that's the masculine, which is what I heard.
Yes.
But then when I go into the feminine, because, well, we have to end, that's not so much that important, though. I mean, it is, but not crucial. What changes the pronunciation in this word is that the E at the end, B-O-N and E, right, makes the N pronounce clearly, so O is no longer nasal. So you kind of affects backwards. So I'm going to say bon, bonne.
Bonne.
The same thing applies to brun, brune. Brune. See how un is un because it's un and the word is nasal. Un, brun. But then when I put the reason I give you this example is because bonne has two n's, and it may, I guess, trigger you to think that because of those two n's I pronounce the n. No, not really, right? Because brun has one n. Brune only adds a e at the end, that e, right?
Yes.
Okay, and because of that, that e makes the n pronounced, which does not nasalize the u anymore. So it's going to be a clear u in that case, in the brun, brune case.
Okay.
It makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
C'était très bon. Il ressemblait une photo.
Good. Who is il?
The image.
So it's going to then have to be not il.
Elle ressemblait une photo.
À une photo.
À une photo. Elle ressemblait à une photo?
Ressemblait, right? It's double S there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, à une photo.
À une photo. Tout le monde a décidé que Simone a gagné le spectacle. Simone était très heureuse et a décidé que la classe ira au cirque pour son prochain voyage de classe.
Attends.
De la classe.
Okay. Que la classe ira where?
Au cirque.
Au cirque.
Au cirque.
Cirque, as in a circus, right?
Yes.
Be careful because you put that instead of e. In French, we don't have that right? Circus, right? This is we don't say si, right? But in French, it's cirque.
So not cirque.
It's
Cirque.
cirque. Yeah, we don't have that vowel in French.
Oh, okay.
With the French. Well, yeah, we have the but we definitely not when you write an I, a letter English I there.
Okay.
So when it's the letter I in English, is a clear E. Only when it combines with or with a. So that's why it's easier if we say we refer to the letters in French, right?
Okay.
Because of that E. Because E in English is different than E in French.
Yes.
Yeah. So except for when combined with and with a, the letter E, French E, is always pronounced a clear E. Nothing else.
Okay.
So cirque.
Cirque. Okay. So Simone était très heureuse et a décidé que la classe ira au cirque.
Qui a décidé? Simone a décidé?
La classe.
Alors la classe a décidé.
Ah non, pardon. Oui.
Je comprends maintenant.
Simone a décidé parce qu'elle a pris le spectacle. Elle a gagné le spectacle.
Le prix.
Et elle a décidé que la classe ira au cirque pour son prochain voyage de classe.
Ok.
Ah oui. Les enfants en classe étaient très heureux et Simone était aussi excitée pour voir les animaux exotiques. Elle voudra les dessiner à son retour.
Elle voudrait. She would like to, right? It's not going to be she will want to. Unless you want to say she will want to.
Okay.
What you really want to say, because what naturally comes is that she'd like to do.
She wanted to draw them on her return.
Yeah. But when you say elle voudra, it's a certainty that she will want, not that she will draw, that she will want.
Yes, she would want to draw them.
She will, elle voudra, it still doesn't work, as in like, Either you say, I guess, elle va le dessiner à son retour.
Okay, that makes sense.
Elle va le dessiner because she's certain that she will, right? Because I'm certain that I will want to draw. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of a
Yes.
yeah. It's too much. I guess deferred. It's a little bit of.
Okay.
Okay.
Elle va les dessiner à son retour.
Oui.
C'est fini.
C'est fini, c'est tout. Excellent.
Mais est-ce que tu peux, est-ce que tu voudrais entendre me parler de mes vacances?
Est-ce que tu voudrais m'entendre parler?
Est-ce que tu voudrais m'entendre parler?
Pas m'entendre parler.
De m'entendre parler de mes vacances?
Oui.
Oui. Est-ce que...
Oui, vas-y.
Est-ce que...
Tes vacances, quand c'était tes vacances?
Oh, à Québec City et Ottawa.
Quand?
La semaine dernière.
C'est même pas cette semaine dernière, ok.
La semaine dernière, oui. Pas 2 fois. So, pas la semaine dernière, mais...
Il y a 2 semaines.
It's 12 hours.
Il y a 2 semaines, oui.
Il y a 2 semaines. Okay,
Il y a 2 semaines.
this was my computer. I hope it didn't disturb you. My computer tells the time.
Oui, non.
Okay. Il y a 2 semaines. Oui?
Oui, il y a 2 semaines.
Okay.
Mes vacances sont été pour 5 jours.
Mes vacances ont duré 7 jours.
On dirait pour...
Non, ont duré 7 jours.
7 jours.
Donc, oui, j'étais en vacances pour 7 jours.
Oui, j'ai été en vacances pour pas 7 jours, pour 4 jours.
4.
4. Oui.
Ok. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Oui. J'ai allé en voyage.
Non.
Non? J'allais.
Well, that you changed in the imparfait.
Oui, j'ai.
What can be wrong about that? So it's a past tense with the verb aller.
Yes. Je suis, pardon.
Aha.
Je suis allée.
Oui.
Je suis allée en voyage à Ottawa et à la ville de Québec avec mes amis.
Oui.
Nous avons conduit.
Nous avons conduit.
Oui.
Oui.
Nous avons conduit à Ottawa. Nous avons visité le musée de nature. Et nous avons pris le Haunted Tour de Ottawa.
Ok, le tour, oui.
C'était très bien.
C'était très beau.
C'est très beau. Le guide nous a donné beaucoup d'histoires.
Nous a dit beaucoup d'histoires. Nous a raconté beaucoup d'histoires. Hein?
Oui, le guide nous a raconté beaucoup d'histoires.
Oui.
Des constructions hantées et des meubles hantés.
Meubles.
Des meubles.
What is that?
Like the buildings.
Okay, that meuble means furniture. Buildings or les bâtiments.
Des bâtiments hantés.
C'est amusant.
Mais nous avons vu aussi le spectacle.
Oui.
Euh,
Un spectacle.
sans-
Un spectacle. You didn't tell me anything about like a show. So
Oui, no.
this.
Ah, ok,
You know what I'm
d'accord.
saying? Yeah, I'm sorry. So because I was a little surprised, le spectacle. So I don't know if you wanted to continue, but I wanted to focus, just explain this a little bit. So I don't know if you wanted to continue the sentence. If you said, nous avons aussi vu le spectacle, blah 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 blah, like the name or something that.
Oui,
That's what you wanted to
ça,
say.
c'est le nom. Le spectacle son et lumière
Ah, ok, de son et
sur
lumière.
la colline du Parlement.
Du Parlement.
Oui, c'est un spectacle régulier.
Régulier. Non, régulier, c'est un spectacle, so it's masculine, right?
Oui, c'est un spectacle régulier qui ils ont eu chaque soir.
Qu'ils ont chaque soir, right? So you want to
Ils
say
ont
that which they have every evening.
Yes, qu'ils ont chaque soir.
Mm-hmm.
Donc, nous l'avons vu.
Nous l'avons vu, oui.
Oui. Mais à la ville de Québec, nous avons resté pour 2 jours.
Non, nous.
Nous sommes restés pour 2 jours. Le soir de notre premier jour, il était
Le premier soir.
Il était de feux d'artifice.
Oui.
Parce que c'était la fête de Québec.
Oh.
C'était fantastique.
Oui.
Les couleurs étaient très belles. Le deuxième jour était l'anniversaire de mon ami.
Oui.
Donc, nous avons planifié voir le Cirque du Soleil parce que il faisait des spectacles chaque soir gratuits pour la fête de Québec aussi.
Oui.
Donc, nous sommes allés et attendus en avance pour 2 heures.
Oh.
Parce
combien
que
c'était?
il est gratuit, non?
Ah, il était
Donc,
gratuit.
il y a beaucoup de jeunes qui...
Beaucoup de jeunes gens, oui.
beaucoup de gens...
Beaucoup de
beaucoup de gens...
jeunes gens. You wanted to say young people?
Non,
No,
just
okay,
people.
sorry, I heard you. Okay. Beaucoup de gens.
Beaucoup de gens qui voudraient attendre. Qui l'attendent.
Qui attendaient voudraient le voir, oui.
Voudraient le voir, oui.
Ouais, oui.
Oui.
J'aimerais aussi.
Oui, le spectacle était vraiment spectaculaire.
Oui.
Mais le spectacle était par le port. Le port.
Le port. Oh, you want to say by the harbor?
Yes. Le port.
Proche du port, oui.
Push the port.
Proche. I mean, I want to say like close. Proche.
Oui,
très
proche de port. Et mais ce soir, le temps...
Non, ce soir.
Et ce soir, le temps n'était pas bon.
Beau.
Beau, il n'était pas beau.
Le temps n'était pas, il ne faisait pas beau.
Oui, le temps...
Well, really, you should say il ne faisait pas beau. So when you refer to the weather,
Yes.
Yeah, il fait beau, il ne fait pas beau, il fait mauvais. Il
Okay.
fait.
So, ce soir, le temps, il ne faisait pas beau.
Okay, stop. So you say le temps and then il, right? You don't need to say, you don't need that. So
Okay.
le temps ne faisait pas beau.
Oui. Le temps ne faisait pas
No,
beau.
stop, 1 second. No. So what I mean to say is that le temps est beau or il fait beau. So either or. So you don't say le temps ne faisait, right? So when you use faire, you use il fait. Il fait beau.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you who does beautiful. I'm going to know is the weather.
Okay.
Okay, il fait beau. Or if you want to say le temps fait beau, le temps est beau, you can say that too. But what I want to emphasize is that il fait beau, il fait mauvais is the qualified expression for weather.
So,
Il ne faisait pas beau.
donc, ce soir, le temps.
No, il ne faisait pas beau.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
And then just assume I'm talking about the weather?
Exactly. That's the expression.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ce soir, il ne faisait pas beau. Avant le spectacle,
Oui.
il y avait un peu de pluie. Donc le cirque. Donc le cirque avait coupé le spectacle un peu court.
They cut it short. That's what you mean to say.
Yes.
It's right, exactly from English. No, ils ont interrompu le spectacle ou ils ont eu un spectacle plus court. Okay, the cut short is an expression. It's an English expression. You cannot translate it directly in French.
Okay, so ils ont
interrompu. Stop again. It's slower. Interrompu.
Donc le cirque.
I know when you say cirque, I hear circle.
Oh, okay.
Cercle. Okay. I don't know why my ear hears something after the k at the end. Because it's cirque, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like sorte du soleil. Cirque. So in English we say cirque, right? Because it's like right, which we don't have again in French. So it's the same cirque. We end on k, because if you don't, I wanna hear circle or cercle, right? Because they're very close. So can you say the word again for me?
Le cirque.
Yeah, cirque.
Le cirque.
Yeah. Do you feel like you want to say something? Does it feel odd to you to end on that k? No. Okay. I don't know why something is adding there. So, yeah, clean it up a little bit at the end there, because otherwise, and also the reason I'm saying this is because you being tempted naturally to say cirque, right?
Yes.
When you add something, you don't add. Okay, so if it's not too crisp at the end, I'm definitely gonna understand circle.
Yes.
Cercle. Okay. So. Because I keep wondering and thinking, oh no, it must be cirque. Okay. Just clear at the end. Because I noticed the first time when you cleaned it up and you put k and was too short for me. I mean, it would be for you, because if you start speaking faster with that short k at the end, right?
Yes.
It's gonna get lost completely, and we don't want that. So we're gonna go from too emphasized to too little, or not at all.
Okay.
So, okay, we'll probably work more on that. Okay.
Okay. Donc le cirque a interrompu le spectacle plus court.
Non, interrompu, that's all, right? C'est tout.
Okay.
Ils ont interrompu plus tôt, you can say. They interrupted it sooner, right?
Ok, plus tôt.
Your story.
Et quand le spectacle a fini, quelques minutes plus tard, quelques minutes.
What is minuit?
Minutes.
No.
No?
No. Minuit means midnight. Minute is minute.
Minute. Ah, ok, d'accord.
Okay.
Oui, oui. Quelques minutes, non, pardon. Le minute.
Again, because you're saying minute. So put the U at the end, right? Minute.
Minute.
And slower. Minute. Perfect. That's it.
Quand le spectacle a fini, quelques minutes plus tard,
Oui.
la pluie a commencé avec toute force. Oui.
Okay.
C'est bon?
Oui.
Ok. Nous avons été trompés.
Vous avez été trompé par qui?
Trompés par la pluie.
Par la pluie.
Quand nous avons rentré à l'hôtel.
Quand nous.
Pardon?
Quand nous. You said.
Quand nous sommes rentrés à l'hôtel.
Quand nous sommes rentrés. Do you have that cheat sheet from my website with the verbs that conjugate with être?
I have it on mine.
Okay. So yeah, what I suggest is that put it on a sticky note. Those yellow medium sticky notes, they fit on there because they're like 8 lines, 9 lines, right?
Yes.
So put that there and have it in your notebook, have it on your fridge door, because we corrected, I don't know if all, but at least I know 3 verbs already.
Yes.
Okay. So you're not too sure on that. Okay.
Pardon?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nous sommes rentrés à l'hôtel. Nous avons visité aussi la vieille ville de Québec. La vieille ville de Québec.
Yeah.
Elle est très belle. Il y a beaucoup de petites boutiques. Il y a aussi des maisons très vieilles qu'ils ont restaurées. Il y a qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Il y a église qui est très vieille.
Il y a. Say again this sentence for me, please. Il y a.
Une l'église.
Okay. If you say une, you don't say the l apostrophe anymore.
Oh, okay.
But
une église.
Une église. Because the first time I think I heard il y a église or something, because I didn't hear anything before that église anyway.
Okay.
But when you were more attentive, you put them both.
Okay. Il y a une église.
Yeah. Oui.
Qui a construit.
You want to say it was built?
Yes.
Yeah. That's where it plays in, that passive voice. Did we talk about the passive voice? No, we don't. Okay. All right. Let me, because I should take advantage of this. So, we know active voice, right? You tell me if you do. You know that the active voice is?
Reflexive
voice?
Yes, reflexive.
Okay. So how do you define reflexive voice?
When you're talking about yourself,
Okay.
or when you're doing something.
When you're talking about yourself, well, I can say...
When it relates to you. Like, I put myself to bed, je me couche, je me cours.
Good, good, okay. So you do an action, right? A verb is an action. So all those like voices or well, relate to verbs, right?
Yes.
So a verb is an action.
Yes.
So when I see a verb as an action, how do you then define the reflexive voice? Refer to the verb. As the action, sorry, as the action. Refer to the action. The action is, so how do you define, explain to your future 4-year-old?
Okay, so if a verb is doing something, like you're doing an action, reflexive would be on the person who's doing it. So you're not doing it to someone else, you're doing it to yourself.
Good. And so you, the quote unquote you, it's then the subject, right?
Yes.
So then the subject does the action onto?
The object, which is itself.
Itself. That's it, right? So the reflexive verb voice or mode, right, is when the action the action is done, well, I don't know, I don't find the word, right, by the subject to itself.
Yes.
The active voice then, what can that be? If the reflexive is, so the reflexive, I like to have a picture on it, as in I throw the action into the mirror and it comes right back onto me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's the case with the reflexive, let's now discover what is the active voice.
So it's the action then.
So who does the action? You are always the subject, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then where does this action go in the active mode, you think?
To someone else.
Right?
Yes.
So it's active that, well, in reflexive it's active too, but it's even more so, it's onto yourself. But the active is when the subject does an action onto someone or something else.
Yes.
Okay. And so if active is I do on someone, so the subject does an action on someone else, what do you think the passive would be? And I'll give you an example in English. I am washed by my mom.
That's the passive?
That's the passive. So why do you think, what's the action, what's the direction of the action in this situation?
That's someone else doing the action to the subject.
To the subject, okay? Awesome, so that's it. So I forgot, it was about the buildings were built, right?
Yes.
So in your sentence, the buildings are the subject, technically. Again, it's a little trickier. If you don't know grammar, and we're learning, and it's no problem for me to make it really simple and funny. But that's a little tricky, because why is the subject still the building if the building doesn't do the action? Because typically you're taught that, well, the subject is who does the action.
Yes.
Well, if the buildings are built, right?
Yes.
If the buildings are not the ones that build, why are they still the subject? That's the tricky part of this. But you just have to, but that's grammar, we cannot fight with it. It's been created before us, so I guess we have to agree with it. So technically in the sentence, the subject is the building, was built, even if you don't say by whom, in your sentence is implied was built by someone, if I don't want to say whom, because you don't know whom, by people, right? By I don't know what. If you know by whom, then you'll probably want to tell me, because it's so interesting, it was built by the architect who did another interesting thing, whatever, right? Whatever the context is. But now going back to the active, reflexive, passive, because we didn't do this. So active, so my classical example is with me and my dog. So I wash the dog is active. Who does the action? I do. Who gets the wash? The dog.
Yeah.
So it's active.
Okay.
I wash myself. Who does the washing? I do.
Yes.
Who gets the washing? Me.
Mm.
So it's reflexive. Now in the passive voice, it's not gonna be anymore who does the washing. So the dog is washed by me, because who does the washing is me, right? But because me is preceded by a preposition by in English and par in French, that's why that's not the subject anymore. The subject never has a preposition in front of it. It's never introduced by a preposition.
Okay.
So when I say my dog is washed by me, you know that even though I do the washing, I'm not the subject.
Yes.
Because I'm preceded by the preposition by or par. And so in this case, the dog, the verb, the dog is the subject, the verb is washed.
Yes.
It's together, is washed, right?
Okay.
And then I am the object of what's, it's more advanced, and I don't want to get too much into the theory of grammar unless you want to, and I don't think you do. It's an object.
Okay.
Okay. So now a simpler or more graphical, if you're visual, more graphical way to see these three modes is this. If you visualize action, because a verb is an action, is something that moves or changes or something, right? So if you visualize the verb as an arrow,
Okay.
in the active mode, the subject throws the arrow of the action onto the object.
Yes.
In the reflexive mode, the subject throws the arrow of the action into the mirror and falls right back onto the subject.
Okay.
And in the passive mode, the object throws the arrow onto the subject. It's the opposite than the active. That's why active, passive, they're opposites, right?
Yes.
The reason it's called passive is because the subject is passive. The subject is not the one doing the action. It's getting the effect of the action.
So it's doing the action, but not really.
No, the subject is not. My dog didn't do the washing. Right? So
Okay, it's receiving the action by the object.
but it's not doing it. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the active is I wash the dog, right? So
Yes.
I as the subject, I'm actively doing the action of washing the dog.
Yes.
I am doing it.
Yes.
But the dog is washed by me. The subject is the dog, but the dog doesn't do anything. He sits there in contentment
Yes.
and gets the washing done to it, to him,
Yes.
her. Well, in my case, it's a girl, right?
Yes.
But the reason I brought this into discussion, why is it active and passive? Because they're opposites, it's always easier to learn. Just like I gave you the verbs, the opposites with the conjugated with être, with the opposites, easier, right?
Yes.
So active is opposed to passive. I mean, those are two contrary, right? They're opposites words, as words as they are, right? And so that implies the fact that in the active mode, the subject is active, and the passive mode, the subject is passive. It's going to give you a little more clues to identify whether it's a passive or not. Because the trick is to, and in my advanced course there are like tons and tons of examples, exercises with this. Create an active action, or is like a sentence into the active mode with a verb that conjugates with être. Right?
Okay.
Je suis allé.
Okay.
Je suis allé means I walked. But if I use être with a verb that does not conjugate with être in the past tense, and I say je suis lavé, that means I am washed, as in a passive voice. That's the trick when you listen, because I know that you want to work with French and go there in France and whatnot, right? So when you hear the verb être,
Yes.
be careful, is this a verb that conjugates with être at the past tense, in the first one of the 16, right? In the cheat sheet, right? No, it's not. Oh, then it means that this verb now is used into the passive voice. I am washed.
Okay.
Because I cannot say I am gone. Oh well, you can't say in English. We cannot say in French. Je suis allé can only be active. Cannot be doing that to yourself.
Yes.
That is just learn them like that. They are. It's possible for them to be passive or not. That's just a memory exercise. But what I'm trying to give you here is that when you read and you go to the French meetups, right? Or or when you just start working in French and people are going to talk to you, assuming you know and you understand. So when you hear something with être, but then that's why I suggest that you have that cheat sheet all over the place in your home and everywhere.
Yes.
So that you literally can carve it into your brain. Only those verbs are conjugated with être in the past tense.
Yes.
Because then, if you hear être with another verb that it's not on the list, then you'll know it's the passive voice. And it's like in your case, what was the sentence? Les bâtiments sont construits. Sont construits, le bâtiment. Les bâtiments sont construits. Ou ont été construits, were built, right?
So, les bâtiments
sont construits.
Sont construits.
If you want to say are built, you may not. You probably in the context that you had, you may want to say were built in 1800s or something. I don't know what you want. Is that okay? So then les bâtiments ont été construits. So être now is in the past tense.
Yes.
But just être.
Yes. Ont été construits. Okay. So all être verbs are never passive, only reflexive.
Oh, sorry, say again?
Être verbs are only active, not passive. They can be reflexive, but they cannot be passive.
Yeah. The verbs, so what you mean to say is the verbs that conjugate with être in the past tense cannot be used in the passive voice.
Yes.
That's what you meant to say.
Yes.
That's correct, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like alien.
Yeah, all those you couldn't. That's in a way, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then again you have the reflexive verbs, but then you have the pronoun there, the pronominal, right? The pronoun that identifies that this is a reflexive and it's not a passive, right? Je me suis lavé as opposed to je suis lavé, right? So je me suis lavé, it's me to myself, I wash myself. Who does? Me. To whom? To myself. But je suis lavé, I am washed. Now if I don't want to say who, that means I'm just very shy. I don't want to tell you who washed me, or I just don't say that. I just don't say who washed me. But when I say I was washed, I don't know, maybe I have, people helping me in the house and I get my bath done to me, like in the 1700s. I was washed. Yeah.
Or
je suis lavé.
Je suis lavé.
So, or if you go to the hairdresser, right?
Yes.
There, tu es lavé. Right?
Tu es lavé.
Tu es lavé because you don't do it to yourself. It's her. It's the hairdresser, her or him, who wash you, right? So if you want to describe to me, oh my God, I found this hairdresser so amazing. So I was washed, I was massaged, I was, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't want to repeat that he did this or whatever, by him, by her, by whatever. You don't want to repeat because it's a long story. So you're gonna keep into j'ai été lavé, j'ai été that doesn't work in massage. that not work in French. But in any way, so j'ai été lavé, j'ai été effacé, j'ai été essuyé, right?
Yes.
That was done to me. But if I say je me suis lavé, again, also I don't want to go too much. I don't want to make it more confusing. I think that's we just want to grasp this right now, right?
Okay, so we can't say elle me lavé.
Elle me lave hier. Yeah.
Or elle m'a été lavée.
Non,
Elle me lavée.
elle m'a lavé.
Elle m'a lavé.
But that M, do you see, in the reflexive mode, je, me, je, and that pronoun refer to the same person.
But if I say elle m'a lavé,
When
she
you say
washed
elle
me.
m'a lavé, elle and me are not the same person.
Yes.
And in this case, is active.
Yes,
'Cause
because
it's
she is doing it to me.
Okay, and it's avoir.
Yes.
But if you say je suis lavé par elle, that's passive.
Say it again.
Je suis, I'm going to write into the chat. So, je suis lavé par elle.
Okay, because then you have the par, which is the preposition.
Par. Well,
Yes.
yeah, but again, with the example with the hairdresser, sometimes I may not want to say that par.
Okay.
But let me give you that example. So, je me suis lavé. Me and je are the same. Reflexive. Me and je are the same person.
Okay. And then how does that fit with the buildings? Les bâtiments ont été construits.
Yeah, that's past tense already. So let me say je suis lavé par elle. I'm gonna just edit that message. So I'm gonna put that into the past tense. Where the je suis lavé par elle, right?
Yes.
J'ai été lavé par elle. Okay. So je suis lavé par elle is in the present, right?
Yes.
J'ai été lavé par elle. That's in the past tense.
Yes.
Which is where your buildings are fitting in.
So, l'église qui a construit par,
Qui a été construite, l'église.
qui a été construit par l'église?
Non. L'église qui a été construite par les gens.
Okay, par les gens. Okay.
Okay, so let's put that one in perspective. Oh, into perspective. So, l'église est construite par lui, par Pierre.
Okay.
Does this make sense to you?
That's passive.
Yeah, in the
But I
past.
wanted to say
What-
the church was built in like 1668.
That's fine. I can add that 1668 here in this sentence too.
Was that still passive?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I have to put Tu vois? L'église est construite par Pierre en 1668.
Et si je ne sais pas qui a construit
Doesn't
l'église?
matter. You can just take it away. I'm just going to take it away. Or I'm going to put it in the brackets. It doesn't matter.
So,
That's exactly why I said to you that it will become confusing when you don't have that par.
but it's still passive.
Sure, because the church didn't do the building, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, 1 second. I think that also the confusion goes to the past tense. So I'm going to do l'église a été.
And it's in, okay. And it's in, we know it's in passive because it conjugates. Oh.
Être is in this case conjugated in different, and I'm going to say future.
Okay, so, sorry, just so I
Yeah, I
understand.
really want you to ask me questions now. Yeah.
So, l'église est construite par Pierre then it's an être and it's in passive.
Mm-hmm.
But l'église a été construite, it's in past tense.
It's a
It still conjugates with être.
It's but it's I was built. It's exact translation from English, sweetie.
Okay.
Do you see that? So when I say I think that we have to clarify much more the passive. That's your homework.
Yes.
So I think we have to clarify the passive mode in English first.
Okay.
Because if I say the church was built in 1668,
yes,
it's passive. Why? Because the church didn't do the building
yes,
unto itself.
yes.
Now if I go into the past tense, l'église a été construite en mille blah blah.
Yes.
The church was built. That's the perfect translation. It's exact. It's in direct translation. That means nothing that's different. It's no trick that I have to resort to, because you translate exactly what you're saying in English.
Yeah. No, my question is because there's an E after the construit, which means it's agreeing with the.
It is agreeing because of the
with the feminine.
Right. Because it's l'église. It behaves like an adjective.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so that was the only thing throwing off, because the only time you do the agreements is with être.
Yeah.
Which is why it was throwing me off.
Well, yeah, but the passive voice does conjugate with être.
Yes.
And a été there, which is confusing you because of that a.
Yes.
Is just the past tense of être itself. I mean, a doesn't have any role in. I mean, it does. It doesn't. We don't translate that. Really, in English, we don't translate that, because we don't say the church has. And with to be is just so hard to translate anyway, differently, yes. Right? Because in English we have just one way to say things, many tenses with that to be. So, yeah, it's and that helps you.
Yes,
I think, because not being an have there in any case, I tell you know it's like was, and you just purely translate that was, and that's it. Yes. Was built, right?
Yes.
And was is to be, so it's conjugated with to be, so then I have to do the agreement.
Yes.
So it's a little more mechanical way that really you can apply from English. That's why I love using, English, to use English as much as you can, because you can 40% of the times, at least in the vocabulary, you can, and also in many, it has a lot of Latin influences. So I want you to use that. In this case, in the passive mode, really use it. And maybe, why don't we do this homework? Let's do this homework.
Yes.
We have time? Yeah, we have about 3 minutes left. Yeah? Yeah?
Yes.
So let's see. Homework. I want you to do like those three. So active, reflexive, and passive.
Okay.
Of how many verbs do you want? I want sentences, guys. To conjugate is just mechanical, and it won't. Because to feel the context, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I want you to feel the context. So how many verbs? Because I want you to pick, right? So you have to pick verbs that work within the reflexive and passive. Some of them don't, right? Yeah. And so because I want the three modes, and can we say like 5?
5, yeah.
5 verbs. You're gonna find them. You're gonna come up with them. Yeah?
Yes.
In sentences. Now, if there are verbs that don't work for all 3, and you don't find any or whatever, just use different verbs. So at the end of the day, I want 15 sentences. How's that?
15 sentences.
3 times 5, right?
Okay, but like 5 verbs though.
Yeah, 5 verbs, but altogether 15 sentences. The way I'm saying that, because some verbs may not be the same verb, as in to wash works at all 3 modes, right?
Yes.
You may not find too many verbs that work at all 3. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. So I allow you to change
Okay.
verbs, but I do want 15 sentences at the end, because if you change verbs, you may end up with less sentences. I do want you to find 15 sentences. So it may be more than 5 verbs, right? Because
Yes.
some of them may not have the reflexive and the passive or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Okay.
How was it for you?
It was good. Good.
Was good?
Yes.
Great. I'm really happy that we found a lot of things that actually we addressed now during this with the story and with the conversation and all, right?
Yes, definitely.
And these 3 modes are confusing and tricky, really. Well, the passive voice is tricky for most. And reflexive is also not to you, because I know you know it, but a lot of people, because in English we don't say I wash myself, you say I
Yes.
wash, and it's implying. You only specify when you say I wash my dog, then I didn't wash myself. If I say I washed in the morning at 7 o'clock, I'm going to understand that you washed yourself. But if you say I washed my dog, you see, I mean, I'm not going to be confused, but in French you have to be even more specific, so it's different modes.
Yeah.
Awesome, great.
Okay.
All right, Vanora, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. Did you want to decide now, or should I send you an email?
Yeah, well, just send me an email. Let's talk by email.
Okay,
Let's
awesome.
get on the email, and we'll just match the availability, okay?
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you so much, Vanora.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I really love that Vanora went into a lot of big problems, I guess, in a way, because passive, reflexive, well, everything was said there, so I don't want to repeat again and again and again. So what I want right now, I want to answer questions about the pronunciation course, which is a very, very new course. I did offer it, it was included into the intensive program. And I have a lot of questions about what is this pronunciation masterclass, what does it entail? So the pronunciation masterclass is made out of 4, really lessons. And so I created 4 videos. You can download them. So I have 4 videos that you can download, 4 MP3 audio files that you can also download, and you can play them on let me just put myself onto, you can play them onto your MP3 player, or in your car, wherever you like, even on your computer you can do that, and also for PDF files. And so it addresses the pronunciation. I go through the entire alphabet, but not just that, but I go through all the combinations, all the combos of letters that you can find ever in the French language. So there is none like this anywhere else on the internet. You will not find something like my masterclass. You will not have everything addressed in one place, and you will not have every question answered and clarified. So you can practice with these files, of course, with videos and audios and PDF files and whatnot. More than that, it includes 2 Skype classes where you ask me questions and I really, really practice with you on the sounds, because there are a lot of sounds that many people can't quite produce. And so there's a science, there's a specific way to explain, and there's a specific way to make it stick, and there's a specific way to stay with it, as in to remember exactly how did you do it so that it sounds right, and how can you actually take it with you when I'm not there in your pocket to produce the same sound, which is very hard. A lot of people, after years and years and years of French, they have a lot of problems with the pronunciation, and they don't know why. A lot of people think that there are not such a thing as pronunciation rules in French. A lot of people I hear on the Yahoo Answers that, oh, you just learn the word the way it's pronounced. Far from that. Yes, there are exceptions, and I address the exceptions, of course, too. But, it's just not with this master class, you will never have you'll never have to worry again. So you'll never make another pronunciation mistake, and you'll never make another spelling mistake, because in French, spelling and pronunciation are hand in hand. This is why I do dictates, because the spelling, the way you pronounce it in your head, is the way you're going to write, or the way you see it written is the way that you're going to pronounce it. If you have no connection between these two, you're never going to be sure that you're saying the right thing, and you're not by mistake not saying a different word. So now I have 33% off of the pronunciation master class. Right now it's September 1st, September 2nd, and September 3rd of 2013 for Labor Day. This is a Labor Day special, 33% off. And on top of that, you also have the option to make two monthly payments. So not only are you paying 67, I don't know how much percent that is, I think it's 67%, but you also pay, half now when you are getting the course, and half next month. So I don't think there's anything better that you can ever give to yourself for Labor Day. Take advantage. You may be at a cottage, but I know that if you are an internet passionate, you must have connection. It's just a matter of either coming to my website, www.j-ouellette.com, and just on the top of that page is right there is a labor special, so you'll just have to click and you'll find it. And I right now also have this special on my Facebook page, facebook.com/French on Skype. So rush in. This special goes away is an introductory pre-sale, because that's only now that you can get this special ever. So jump on and pre-order it today, and you're gonna be the happiest person in the world, because more than 90%, if not, I want to say 97% of people who speak French and come to me to learn to be more advanced, or they are already advanced, they have no clue of all these pronunciation rules. So stay on your game and don't ever stay on your game and don't ever give up on your dream to become bilingual. The world needs your enthusiasm when you go to Paris and really enjoy it. So thank you so much for joining me on this workshop, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.